මාටුවක් ගහලා බෝට්ටුව අනිත් පැත්ත පෙරළුණා. අපි ඉතින් පාවි හිටිය දින 16ක්. පස්සේ අපිට කරගන්න දෙයක් තිබුණ නැහැ වෙන අපි කරිච්ච කට හොදලා ඒකෙන් බිව්වා බෝට්ටුවේ පෙඳ හිටන් කෑව කන්න දෙයක් නැතුව.
Now those were the recollections of two fishermen who braved the seas and survived its torment for 16 days. The fishermen who set out to sea on the Kavinda-1 vessel arrived in Trincomalee yesterday on a Navy vessel. The fishermen who were adrift on the open sea after their vessel toppled were picked up by another multi-day fishing trawler.
The Kavinda-1 fishing vessel set out to seize from the Mirisa Fisheries Harbour on the 5th of October with 4 sailors on board. The fishermen last had contact with the land on the 29th of November. Later, 2 fishermen who managed to stay on top of their vessel after it toppled were picked up by the Aloka multi-day fishing vessel. Upon a request made by the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, the fishermen who were in a critical health condition were transferred to the Suranimala Navy vessel and brought to Trincomalee. The fishermen were eventually admitted to the Trincomalee hospital. Relatives of the fishermen who survived this ordeal arrived in Trincomalee today. After the boat toppled, we stayed on it for 14 days without any food or water. The skipper of the boat managed to provide with a small amount of water and allowed us to survive. I thank him. Then he also disappeared. We survived on small rations of water about a week after our skipper died, and the other mates started to suffer. He didn't even speak with us after some time. About 3 or 4 hours before we were rescued, he fell into the water. We managed to bring him back. He wanted water and we did our best, but he passed away about an hour and a half before we were rescued by the Aloka boat. We were left for 16 days without water. We survived on coconuts which floated our way. We found some battery water and we drank it. Eventually we ran out of that as well. Tenny passed away after drinking too much salt water. We were saved because we were seen by another vessel. BHJ Nishanta, who served as the skipper of this vessel, and MH Tenil Priyanga have not been found yet.
The visiting Foreign Minister of Australia, Senator Bob Carr, visited St Anthony's Girls' College in Colombo today to inspect the utilisation of funds provided by the Australian government through Australian aid for the development of education in the country. Speaking to the media at this occasion, Australia's Foreign Minister Bob Carr said that the Sri Lankan government could count on Australia to continue to provide development assistance in the field of education.
The government of Sri Lanka can count on Australia. We'll be providing $34 million over the next 4 years to support the government's 5-year education plan. And we do this knowing that education is fundamental to the government's building of a knowledge economy in Sri Lanka.
Now, during the Australian minister's visit, the students at the school also treated him to a cultural performance. Exercise books and uniforms were distributed among school students yesterday as well under the Pranya Pradeepa concept initiated by Western Provincial Councillor Dr. Jayanthi De Silva.
A large number of students arrived today as well to collect exercise books and school uniforms. Without education, nothing will be useful in a child's life. I am doing all this for education on behalf of the development of this country. We should lend a hand to children and grant them an opportunity to obtain a good education. A musical show was also held at the Campbell Park in Buralla in line with the 25th anniversary of the Pragnya Pradeepa concept. UNP Deputy Leader Sajid Premadasa also performed a song at the occasion. This musical show will be broadcast on our sister channel Sirasa TV tomorrow following the conclusion of the primetime news at 10.
The current chief prelate of the historic Hunupitiya Gangarama temple, Venerable Galabodha Gnanisaratera, celebrated his 69th birthday yesterday. A special Bodhi Puja ceremony was held at the Hunupitiya Sri Gangarama Vihara in Colombo in line with Venerable Galabodha Gnanisaratera's birthday. Amongst those who were present were the Minister of Education, Bandula Gunawardena, and Yoshita Rajapaksa, who also wished the Venerable Gnanisaratera during this special occasion. Dry rations were presented to 100 low-income families in the area. School uniforms were also presented to the students of the Dhamma school, and these were just amongst many other social service projects that were held during the day.
Best cut. Make your choice now.
මේ දිනේ සටම් පාට බවට පත්වෙන තත්ත්වයට අපි අධිකරණයේ කටයුතු සාකච්ඡා කළ යුතු නැහැ.
ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදයේ රකින්න ඉන්න ආයතන තුනම දැන් හැප්පීමකට ඇති වෙලා තියෙනවා. මේකට මාර්ගය කැපුවේ කවුද?
ආනි හත් දෙනා මුළු රටම කැනහැලියක් බවට පරිවර්තනය කිරීම රටටම කරන මහා විනාශයක්.
Vote now for your favorite cut of the day. Log on to www.newsfirst.lk or SMS to BEST space your choice and send it to 7788. For the best cut of the day, watch News First on Sirius TV at 10 tonight. The best cut. Make your choice now.
You're watching Primetime News on MTV Sports. Let's now go in for a short commercial break. Welcome back to the news. In sports news, Tilakaratne Dilshan reached his 22nd half century during day 2 of the first test against Australia in Hobart today.
Australia winning the toss and electing to bat first declared their first innings with a total of 450 for the loss of 5 wickets. Sri Lanka on stumps of day 2 were 87 runs for the loss of 4 wickets. Australian wicketkeeper Matthew Wade scored his second half century of 68 today. Mike Hussey remained unbeaten on 115, which was his 19th test century and consisted of 8 boundaries.
It was all about rotation of strike for Hussey, 45 now. There he goes with
Dimuth Karunaratne and T.M. Dilshan opened the batting for Sri Lanka. However, Sri Lanka started to lose early wickets, with Dimuth Karunaratne being the first to head back to the dressing room for just 14 runs. Sri Lanka continued to lose wickets at regular intervals as they lost Kumar Sangakkara for 4 runs and captain Mahela Jayawardene for 12 runs. Tilakaratne Dilshan remains unbeaten at the crease on 50 runs, while Thilan Samaravira also failed to impress as he was dismissed for just 7 runs. With 6 wickets in hand, Sri Lanka trails Australia by 363 runs.
Going for the cut in the last over, a very ambitious shot, and that's a massive.
Meanwhile, also in Test cricket, India trail England by 33 runs with 2 wickets in hand on day 3 of the 4th and final test at the Vidarbha Cricket Association Stadium in Nagpur. Now, India resumed play today on an overnight score of 87 for the loss of 4 wickets and posted 297 for the loss of 8 wickets in their first innings by stumps today. Now, overnight batsmen MS Dhoni and Virat Kohli shared a 198-run 5th wicket partnership to revive the Indian innings. Kohli made 103 runs while Dhoni was dismissed for 99. James Anderson was the chief destroyer for England, picking 4 for 68, while Graham Swan also chipped in with 3 for 76.
wonder whether... Oh, given! Oh, that's come back a long way, no problem. 3. Oh, one more! So India 33.
And up next is a look at Action TV.
Of the 2 wrongdoings highlighted by Action TV on the 11th of this month, one has been rectified by the central provincial authorities. This was done through the take of the official residence of the principal of Vidyartha College, Kandy. This building incidentally had been renovated at a cost of 500,000 rupees, which came from the funds of the Central Province Department of Education and subsequently provided to the clerk attached to the department. However, in spite of the Auditor General also raising concerns regarding it, the house, which should be inhabited by the Central Provincial Director of Education, continues to be inhabited by an individual who is not even a public sector employee. The fact that this individual is a politician's coordinator is not a qualification for him to inhabit this house. While assets of the Department of Education are being misused thus on the basis of political power, the Provincial Ministry of Health has come in the way of the efforts being borne to implement the primary healthcare objectives cited in the Mahinda Chintanaya. The Provincial Ministry of Health took steps to allocate a number of cabs which were provided on a request made by the Department of Health from the Treasury to institutions which already proceeded with transport facilities, completely disregarding the Medical Officer of Health or MOH officers which were in dire need of transport facilities. When unable to rectify this mistake, the professionals at the Provincial Department of Health submitted a project proposal to the World Population Fund and obtained these 2 cabs as a grant. When plans are being made to park these 2 vehicles, which were provided as a grant by a group of professionals as a result of the misuse of assets belonging to the Provincial Council, isn't that not only an insult to the profession, but also deprivation of rights of the people? Chief Minister of Central Province, this one is over to you. The 5-month history of fuel. Compensation to be paid for the damages caused to a number of vehicles due to substandard diesel. Fuel leakages reported from several pipes used to transport fuel. Leak in the pipe transporting fuel from Colombo Port to Kolonava. A fuel leak in a pipe in close proximity to the Kalanithissa power plant. Emergency repairs in the buoy at the Colombo Port. 2 employees killed when repairing a pipe which carries toxic gases at the Sapugaskanda refinery. By the end of the last year, the losses incurred by the Sipetco rises up to 94 billion rupees. 2011 report of the Ministry of Finance. Today, the price of a litre of 90-octane petrol increased by 10 rupees. Does this price increase mean that the public should take the responsibility of solving these problems?
Entertainment news tonight. The Outreach Christmas concert organised by the Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka got underway at the Ladies College Auditorium last evening.
This was the first outreach concert to be held in Colombo by the Symphony Orchestra of Sri Lanka. The concert saw the participation of students from schools from northern and southern provinces of the country, as well as senior citizens living in elders' homes. The orchestra performed several Christmas instrumental pieces, as well as carols for which the audience could sing along. MTV MBC were the media sponsors of the concert.
And on that musical note, we wrap up this edition of Primetime Weekend News. I'm Nadim Majid. Have a very pleasant evening. Good night.